underway. Beautiful weather. Been a challenge this summer. A lot of rain, but crops look really good. Dad and Mark are gonna take that wheat off. Myself, Lee, and Greg are gonna finish our second cutting. Got about 30 acres to get in the bag. And they're working on about a 60-acre field up there on Clear Lake Road. We had to divide and conquer. Earlier this morning, we got the grain cart, 7830 all hooked up, checked over. Semis checked over. Combine checked over. Got them to the field. We had to make a couple rounds, and then we headed down here, and we're getting her done. But it's gonna be a nice day, beautiful day. Hopefully, no breakdowns. Let's go. What you're seeing here is some haylage that was chopped yesterday. Sat on the wagon overnight. I had some very, very juicy loads yesterday. Nonetheless, got us started. Gave us a big jump to hopefully be able to finish that today. It's a lumpy bag. Anytime you see a lumpy haylage bag, guys will ask, I've learned, that means that the feed was pretty wet. Started off drier, and then she got pretty squishy on me. Graded out the ag bag site, added a little gravel, trying to keep her as flat as possible for drainage when it does rain. Looking pretty good. Now we got ourselves a fresh one. Getting a little bit dry on us, but not terrible. Got a beautiful wind coming out of the south. Feels good out here, but that's why she's drying out on us. Okay, next day, second cutting complete. Bag didn't quite get filled, but I'm a ways down there. Lee got the wagons cleaned off, parked, sitting, waiting for third cutting. I'm gonna clean up the chaff here along this bag. Dad and Mark made it back with the combine, the semi. I'll show you that here shortly, but in the meantime, I'm gonna show you what I did yesterday morning before I started chopping. I had to go up in that grain silo. Let's go. Hey guys, then we're in, and she's probably less than half full. Yeah, that's for sure. I haven't been up here in a while. My brother actually serviced it for me last time. False alarm though. Looks like the belt come off. Belt don't look the best, does it? Oh, let's look at that belt. I'm gonna have to get a different one. Out of the silo, yeah, this thing's shot. The beauty of not using 4 of the silos is you've got lots of parts. This is a lot better one I had on hand. I've got a stack of all kinds of stuff, but head back up and put it on. We're up. 2 pulleys, and this is the tensioner. Yeah, she's straight. Now we can put this outside big fat dried belt on. Tight, tight. Here we go. Wait for the snap. 1. Snap it on. A lot of wrist grip strength there, but she's now set. And there's your drive, so she should be good to go. We'll head down, turn it on, and run our pile of corn for the mixer. Nice and cool in these barns. We'll check on that silo. I can hear it pouring out. So that's a good sign. There we go. Let that pile up a little bit and then we'll scoop it up. 800-900 pounds, throw it in the mixer. Lock that hole. Okay, that's all cleaned up. TMR's filled. What I've been doing on these, I mean, it's 90 degrees today. I don't know if you can tell my face, but I've been putting additive in the feed. Supposed to keep the feed cool in the bunks. Got a nice breeze here. That's why you're seeing all the cattle hovering where I took the silo out. But putting a little additive in there on these real hot, humid days. I figured at least I'm going to try. I don't know if it works, but it's called Bunk Life. Maybe leave a comment if you guys try and use that. But I mean, about 90 yesterday also, and they had the bunks pretty well cleaned up. So I was pretty happy with that. That means something was working right for them to be able to eat that amount of feed when it was that humid. I just had to back this 7720 and disc bind up out of our way. We got to get the hay rakes out. Got a little piece here I cut down. Marks up balun, combine's home waiting to get washed. 7/8 grain carts ready to get washed. You see the little bit of mud was around them tires. There's a wash in that field they're in. Now we'll get that rake out, so when Mark gets back from baling all that straw, he'll just swing in here and he can bale up around the farm there. up here, I can tell you that. I think it's the canopy that helps funnel it. I'm just kind of looping in here, that way I don't get caught in that corner. Run cars. They're cleaned up. That's all she wrote, guys. Put this away. Tractor and disc blind out of the sun. Best we can. In the barnyard, checking in on the cattle. She's been laying down in the on the cement here. That feels pretty cool still. How you girls holding up? She's hot. Here's another one, looks extremely hot. How you doing, Mom? How you guys doing? Good to see you. They're hanging in there. I'll open this barn back up. I shut these sliders in the morning. Well, maybe I'll wait. Yeah, see the sun's still hitting that. I shut them new sliders that we just put on, and that keeps it a lot cooler. And then once the sun gets all the way up, I'll open them, and then there'll be a cross breeze. Decent breeze here. You see that flag up there flying. They're hanging in, hanging out at the watering troughs, I can tell you that. This is a field where we're working out of. It's about a mile from the farm, good 40 acres. Got some nice black dirt. See how dry it is. Rain coming tonight, tiled. You see what we did, the headlands. We took a 30 and a 30 and then did these headlands. And there's only about a 4-day difference in cutting this and that, except that got 2 inches of rain. This headland did. All the way around. You see how green it got. And this is extremely dry, but get some rain, she'll catch up, and then we'll cut it all at once again for third cutting. Let's head home. I'll show you what I got going on there. Okay, you see these flowers I got along this fence? What we did was I laid a trench a couple months ago, I think. It might have only been about 6 weeks ago. And we planted a whole packet of these flowers called zinnias. Now she's already snipped some of these off and she'll put them in a vase, but this is something to dress up the inside of the house is what it was. But we grew them last year on the back side of the house in front of some big boulders I got, but what it did was they got so tall they blocked the boulders, so we didn't want to do that again. Yeah, these ones here, they're not blooming as fast, and it's all because of that's a nice one there. It's all because of the sun. When the sun comes and hits and the house is blocking and all that tree cover starts to go down, these down here don't get as much sun, but not too bad. Make our way back to my sanctuary here, the garden. Sweet corn, pumpkins. Actually saw my first pumpkin start to take shape. So there's like the first one. There's a couple more starting. Pumpkins are kind of a pain, man. They grow everywhere. So I put the corn here to kind of block them, but more than likely there'll be vines going all the way out here. More sweet corn in the center, and cucumbers. Cucumbers have been coming on pretty good. There's a nice one. She's been picking them right along. Her and the kids come out here. Yeah, there's another pretty nice long one. And your tomatoes, they're still pretty green yet. I might have to do something different with this tomato location next year because they're not getting as much sun. Might have to move them down there, but they're coming along. They're just, in other years they've been a lot better. But yeah, I've got this up here. This cucumber really started climbing my pig fence. Guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hot here in Michigan. Wind, thankfully we got wind, so it feels pretty good right now. Second cutting in the books. 2/3 of the wheat's in the books. We got one big field left. I'll try to get in the combine with Dad when we hit the ground running for that next week. And there'll be more straw baling. I think we're gonna spread the whole field down there. It's a 110-acre field. And then I'm gonna rake it. That way, we don't need the whole field to be baled, and that way there's not windrows sitting in the field that's not getting baled. So I may end up raking, and then Mark will be round baling. So, and then we'll be moving them bales back home because we are about out of straw. So we've timed that pretty well. You don't want extra carryover of straw because if they're not housed inside, and the net gets weak and they bust up and make a mess. So that note, take care. Have a good one. God bless.